Hello everyone, welcome to Speaking of Fashion by the Vanilla Issue. This is Shreya from Fashion Gal, and today we're going to be talking to Alfonso Nava, founder of Almana Studio. Alfonso is a brilliant Berlin-based designer who started off as a lawyer and now is working as a content creator and a fashion designer. We talk about a lot of things: fast fashion, AI, being a content creator and designer, how tastes are changing, how algorithms are shaping everything that we know and love. So we hope you enjoy this conversation and let us know what you think in the comments below. We can start by like a quick introduction and understanding of about you, how you got started. I was reading a lot about you and the
Yeah,
story that you shared that how you were a lawyer and how you switched to fashion, and maybe a little bit about your Italian roots. I think that's so interesting that because I generally don't see people like Italian designers moving to Berlin. I think very unique choice, I should say. I would love to know your story, how you got started, and how you ended up here.
yeah, absolutely. So let's start from this point. I was born in Italy. I was born in South Italy, and actually, it's a little town called Circello. It's like 1 hour and a half from Naples. Most of the people they know Naples. They don't know this little place. And actually, I always had a very creative mind. Let's say so, and I was passionate about acting. Clothing. When I was a little kid, I was cutting my stuff with a scissor, and my mom was always complaining about that because I was trying to make things, but without any knowledge. And but then it arrives a time in your life, at least it did for me, when you have to make decision. And when you are maybe in a social context that it doesn't allow you to, I don't know, to try and take risks, this could be a problem. So I tried the let's say the ordinary pathway also because social pressure, family conditions. So it's not allowing to anyone like saying, okay, I'm gonna study art or I'm gonna study fashion. So I always invite friends that were kind of trying this creative path, but I never felt that that was something that I could have done. Mostly for the starting condition, let's say so I studied law. Actually, I studied law in a public university in Rome, and I did all the career. I moved to China at some point where I did a PhD, and then after that I started working in what I was actually studying. International law. I specialized in protection of human rights, so I was working on the international protection of human rights. That if I feel it, like nowadays with the current situation, political and social situation that we are going on, you feel that, I mean, most of what I studied actually doesn't exist. International law doesn't exist. And when I moved to Berlin, it was, now I'm 34. It was 5 6 years ago, and I was still working in law field. And I was feeling, okay, I'm approaching 30, and what I'm bringing to the world, what I'm bringing to the outside world. And the answer was nothing that it belongs to me, you know so my feelings, my emotions, what I wanted to be when I was a little kid, or dreams. We always overuse this word, dreams, dreams, dreams. But at the end of the day, at the end of our life, because we have just one possibility here in this world, it will make a lot of sense, thinking about your life also in terms of dreams, and try to make as much as possible, of course, them reality. So I was quite, let's say, not satisfied with my pathway, professionally talking. And then, of course, when you are doing something professionally, then it takes over also personally talking. So I
Right.
wasn't, I wasn't satisfied with myself. And so I was kind of, mm, during my, I remember, during my transition period, when then I decided to quit my last job in the legal field, I was kind of asking to me myself, who are you, or what you like, what could reconnect you with yourself, with your essence. And then I was remembering of this thing. Then when I was kid, I was kind of loving to, I don't know, to make my little modification to to my clothes. And so it was a thought that was reconnecting me myself to my essence at the end of the day. And yeah, and from there everything started. So I always tell to the people that Almana wasn't like starting a brand, wasn't starting a fashion pathway. It was a necessity. It was a necessity to reconnect to myself. So to reconnect to that little child that had some dreams, and to reconnect that adult to the little child, and actually try to make my life, to give to the colors to my life, the colors that I want to my life. And so everything started like this. I remember that the transition period, it wasn't super easy, because many of the people, they were asking me, but maybe you have money, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe you have some kind of financial resources. Actually, no, I didn't have those things. I just had the necessity to do something, and the necessity to feel that I was leaving something to the world and to myself. So I
Right.
think that I did it for myself. It was my biggest
Yeah.
gift.
Well, that's a beautiful story, and I love the way that you've connected, how you have something that you ended up doing, which is like fashion and sewing and designing, to your childhood. And I think that also sort of comes across in your work, because I was looking at your designs, so it does have this sort of playfulness to it, this sort of wonder to it, this sort of surreal factor to it. Like I
Yeah,
remember this blazer that you did with like two
yeah,
faces. Like so many of your clothes have that sort of childlike wonder, which I
yeah,
think comes from this place of curiosity that you're, coming
yeah,
across. I think that's a
absolutely.
beautiful connection. I think it's so rare to see a story that is actually reflected in the work that the designer is doing.
Thank you. It's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So,
And then yeah,
so who would
absolutely.
you say, like, in terms of...
In terms of, yeah, keep
No, no,
going.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, I'm thinking that when I
Okay,
think
so I
about,
would say,
yeah, sorry.
no, no, you please continue, continue.
So you are talking about my designs, and also how they connect to the story that I was telling you. I think that at the end of the day, fashion is a very powerful form of art. So I want to try to literally connect what I make to my identity, and then let this identity kind
Mm-hmm.
of flow in the people that feel them, and they wear my designs as well. So I always think about, yeah, fashion, like something that you a kind of artistic language that you can literally wear every day. A painting is on the wall. I don't know, of course a song, you can listen to it,
Yeah,
but a piece of clothes, you can wear it every day, so it's more or less the same. You don't leave it at home, you
yeah,
carry it with it, and you carry it with you around the world. So it literally gets, yeah, it's something that
mm-hmm.
is kind of rooted down you, and
Yeah,
it shows your identity as well. So it's powerful.
yeah, yeah. So fashion is art, or is fashion art, has been one of fashion's favorite questions. Like everyone is always talking about it. And especially with the recent Met Gala theme, they had the whole fashion as art theme. So
Yeah,
I'm guessing that you believe that fashion is art.
yeah, I'm totally believing it. And
Mm-hmm.
most of the time I feel, I had plenty of conversation with people about it, especially here in Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
This is a place where creativity is all around. So many people,
Right.
most of the people, they work in some creative field.
Mm-hmm.
then there is always this, let's say, this conversation about how people see different forms of art, and also
Mm-hmm.
how fashion is positioning itself among those forms of art. I feel that many people, they stopped seeing fashion as a form of art. And then, sometimes we wonder about the damages of fast fashion, ultra fast fashion,
Mm-hmm.
fast fashion. Of course,
Right.
the first of all is pollution, environmental pollution, exploitation of people. Absolutely, yes. But then it's also a kind of emotional damage that fast fashion is making, to kind of let people think that actually fashion is just something that you wear because you overconsumption fashion. So, you overbuy clothes,
Right.
you change trends every week, you change every season, you refresh your wardrobe. And then, of course, that is
Mm-hmm.
losing the magic, and then fashion is losing its own essence. That fashion is starting from the hands, the heart, and the mind of a person that is designing a piece of clothes, at the end of the day. So there is an emotion behind, there is a
Mm-hmm.
process behind, that is made by
Right.
emotion, the developing of the emotion. I don't know, maybe someone is extremely sad or extremely happy or extremely in love,
Right.
I don't know, whatever, no? And then from that emotion
Right. Right.
there is a process. But fast fashion just cut it because people see trends and different clothes every day, so they of course they don't think anymore about what is behind, before even
Mm-hmm.
the end of the people that who makes fashion.
Right. No, I think that's a great point because right now most people don't look at clothes emotionally, especially if I think about Gen Alpha or even like some like
Yeah,
a younger Gen Z audience. Fashion is a lot about like fashion is self-expression, but for a lot of people, fashion is becoming how you present yourself. It's like your visual identity. It's like how we play a video game and you have these different skins and avatars. I think a lot of
yeah,
people are treating fashion like that, and I think it's really sad because, like you said rightly, fashion is so much about what the designer is feeling. Like, when you look at a designer like Dior, you sort of have a sense of what they were trying to, what era they came from, what they designed. Maybe like any other, like the Antwerp Six, there's so much cultural heritage that these brands and designers carry, which I think is really missing right now. And I
yeah,
feel now with this, what are your thoughts on this whole AI? Because now we have AI here, right? Which is, of course, like in a way making things worse, and especially when you connect it to the fast fashion model, like now people don't even need to like feed trends onto the fast fashion model, like everything can be AI generated. You can just do an AI sentiment analysis and you have the next trend ready. So I
yeah,
think what are your thoughts on this collision of AI and fast fashion coming together for the
yeah.
industry?
I mean, I always tell to the people while we talk about those things that it's my daily bread. In Italy we say something that you talk every day, daily bread.
Mm-hmm.
The most sustainable garment, in my opinion, is a garment that it carries a story. It's a garment that it carries emotions. And I feel that, of course, artificial intelligence super can be helpful, but it shouldn't replace creativity. It shouldn't replace that creative process that is coming from the feelings that each of us have. Otherwise, that could be a problem because then they create standards. And of course, the standardized process, standardized garment, and this is going, of course, in helping the fast fashion to become even more powerful. So yes, I think that there is a big connection, of course, and I think that technology. I'm not the one who when I condemn technology on all the way, but it can be helpful, but it has to be used in the smartest way, and it cannot be seen as something that is replacing human emotions, human creativity, and all that it comes with that. This will be the biggest
Right.
mistake, I feel.
Definitely, definitely. And I feel that now standardization of art and creativity is so common. Like, it's even in the little things. If you see like these AI generated invitations that are going viral these days, people are creating AI generated everything, like beat songs or movies or, even the reels on Instagram are AI generated. And fashion, of
Um,
course, there are so many AI generated fashion brands existing in the market right now. People are just generating and pretending to be a brand, which is not even true.
yeah, and this is another problem. I feel that each of us, we have, of course, our own personality, and the world is telling
Mm-hmm.
us to be uh, kind of all the same. And this problem you are talking about generating with the artificial intelligence, many things, from song, from fashion brands, from whatever. Yeah, of
Mhm.
course, maybe could be a shortcut and maybe could even work, in some case.
Mhm.
But then how long it will really stays there? Because then, it means the personality of each of us. And of
Right.
course, you can do something nice with artificial intelligence. Let's talk something nice, visually tempting. Uh, but can you do something strong in the sense of showing your personality and showing yourself to the outside
Right.
world and saying, this is me, this is what I carried because of my process of life, this is who I am, and
Mhm.
this is my design representing who I am. You cannot do that with artificial intelligence. Maybe you can create a few collection, they look great, but
Mhm.
then are you really giving voice to yourself? This is the question, because we can make things that are beautiful for you and maybe are less beautiful for me, or more beautiful for another one. But then what it matters, in my opinion, is that you are giving voice to your personality, to yourself. And with a tool, a
Yeah.
technology tool, you cannot really do that.
Yeah, definitely. This also brings me to this point that recently I've been seeing the word taste everywhere. Like, how people are saying that there's no taste left anymore. And taste is, of course, very subjective. Like, what might be high art or high fashion to me might not be to you. And taste is very subjective. Background, culture, religion, so many play a factor in how you perceive things. But
Yeah.
there's also this question that how AI simply does not have taste, right? I mean, it really cannot generate something that will have any sort of cultural significance. It won't have, it cannot like lead a movement, or it cannot, like really connect with people on an emotional level, which is, I think, such a big part of how like social media in general and the fashion industry in general is going to. There's so much lack of taste because even if you like sometimes read something as small as like caption that a brand has put out, like an Instagram caption, it seems to be AI generated. Like brands are now using AI generated models for their campaigns,
Mm.
and big brands, which is such a shame. And I feel this will also create so much space for new human voices because eventually customers are going to figure out and they're going to be sick of AI because right now it's the new shiny thing. After 5 years, it's just going to, overwhelm everyone. But I also feel that this right now, the designers who are coming up right now today in these couple of years are going to have such a strong edge and USP to them because they are not using AI. I think
Mm.
non-AI designers are going to like lead the way after 5 years. What do you think? Like, what are your things on, what is this, how's the situation for emerging designers right now in the market?
Uh, I will reconnect also the matter of having taste and feeling the taste. Then most of the time it's also it depending a lot of our culture and from where we come from. My taste as a European, white Italian man can be different of a taste of, I don't know, person that is coming from Ecuador and whatsoever.
Yeah.
So this is very important to recognize it, that don't avoiding to be, colonizing taste, because this is another problem of our current today world. Shreya, are you there? For a second,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
Oh, no, no, I'm here, I'm
Trying
here.
to colonize even the taste, so saying which one is the most respectable taste, which one is the European taste. Yeah, maybe many people they,
hmm
they think that, but it's quite a mistake. There are different level of taste, and then I feel that most of the time AI standardized taste as well. So it's kind of communicating to the people, especially the young audience, because they, of course, they have a personality that is still kind of growing and developing. So for them, it's quite difficult to say, okay, I do not follow this trend. I just create my own things, my own taste. I just work on my own vision. And this is kind of creating a little army of all same people with the same taste, same preferences, and same vision of what is beautiful and what is not. So this is very dangerous, and this is going also in the direction in which we were talking before, cutting the emotions to the clothing and the process of
Mm.
making clothing itself. That it's a creative process. But yeah, once we have the same taste, there is no personality anymore. There is no vision about what is beautiful and what is not. I don't care if something I make is beautiful for the audience. I care if something I make, it gives you a thought. It makes you think, okay, maybe I do not like that, maybe I wouldn't wear that, but it's transmitting me something. So this is the essence of what, or at least this is what I'm trying to do. Let
Right.
the pieces of clothes speak for themselves in a strong way. Then people likes it, people don't. Of course, it's important in the sense that I do this as a profession, so of course I need also
Mhm.
to sell my design, otherwise I do not pay my bills and my rent. But yeah, I try always to make something for the sake of who I am, my personality, what I want to communicate to the people, than for the sake of selling and making money. Otherwise, I would have done something
Right.
different.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it completely. One thing I would love to ask you is, we have talked a lot about how fashion needs more emotion, designs need more emotion. Who would you, or what designers or what brands do you think have shaped your fashion vision? Like, who do you connect to on an emotional level when it comes to fashion?
Okay. So I couldn't name just one because honestly,
Yeah, definitely.
when I think about my inspiration, I think about designers who inspired me. I really do not see just one name, and and I don't think that some of them they shape it the way in which I see fashion, I see design. I mostly think that my taste and my vision appreciated them and appreciate them. So of course, somehow they kind of helped me to then build my own vision, because this is a very big risk of having someone that is inspiring most of the time. Of course, I think that we need people, designers in this case, that are kind inspirational for young designer, but at the same time we have to create our own pathway with our own vision. I think that from my point of view, there are many, as I was saying,
Hmm.
and Ray Cavacubo, Galliano for the storytelling. I really loved Cavacubo with Comme des Garçons for using fashion. This is really close to what I'm trying to do. Using fashion as a philosophy, as a way to be. Um, then I could name, of course, all the Yamamoto collections for the way in which they show the imperfection that at the end of the day it's just beautiful. So cannot say anything about that. And Margiela as
Yeah,
well, in a way in
I get it
which,
completely. Like,
yeah, yeah, in a way which Margiela, I think, how the also the luxury world, how he was questioning the luxury world. So I think, yeah, that those three, four, five designers, they kind of helped me to find my way toward my vision. Not that my vision is already here, complete, absolutely no. We I think that everything is in constant developing and
Hmm.
improvement. I hope so, at least. And but yes, they gave kind of an impulse in some direction, for sure.
Right. Okay, got it. You know, but Alfonso, if I talk about you as a designer, you are not just a designer, you're also a content creator. You're very active on social media and you're always sharing these sort of behind the scenes and, basically how the designers actually design. And I've noticed that your content sort of places it in a very relatable, like watchable way. For example, if I don't know anything about fashion, I think it would entice me a lot. So how do you balance that? Because Instagram is a full-time job, like being churning out content, creating content. It's a lot, I know. And how do you manage that? Like, I would love to know, like, since you're doing two things and two like rather creative things that require so much of effort 24/7, how do you balance that and how do you keep those two things different or do you keep them different? What is your approach to design and content creation?
Yeah. How, first of all, we should go back on how do I started content creation, because I wasn't the most the person mostly keen to the social network in general. I was the one that, I mean, till 2018, I guess, I had my old phone without camera and I didn't have any Facebook or any Instagram. Till then, I started with my brand, and so for me it was something very new. And actually I wasn't so able to show myself. Many times I feel people asking me, okay, I really like the way in which you show yourself, but how do you do that? Where did you learn that? uh, Actually, I didn't. I just started, and again, I think that at the end of the day, everything is connected. We were talking before of Almana, so how do I start with my brand? And I was telling you that it was a necessity. And I think that also the social media things started from a necessity mostly to be seen, because this is another little, let's say, struggle for young designer. Or either you have money, so maybe your parents have money or you yourself have money, so you can showcase yourself, you can just take the risk of make one, two, three, four collection of many pieces each, and then maybe it goes well, maybe it doesn't, maybe you try it again. So at some point you reach a point in which you have some kind of visibility, and this could be one way. uh, I didn't, so I didn't start from these conditions. So I had to find my way. And the necessity of come out with this project for me, it was so strong that I was wondering how. And then I found the answer in social media, and then I found the answer in, okay, you didn't do it before, you feel that you are not good in doing it, you don't want to show yourself all these things, but now you need to. And so I started with making my reels about sewing, about fashion, about the vision. And uh, I think that, yeah, at the beginning, actually, you were talking about balance. At the beginning it was very difficult to balance the two things. I remember even the first year that I started with my Instagram, it was very hard to spend the day entirely working on my Instagram account and my reels. And sometimes I didn't have any time for doing the other things that are actually my priority, because, yeah, of course, I use the Instagram and reels as a tool to be seen, actually, and to reach a big audience. But what is feeding me, what is feeding my personality and my feelings, is designing and making clothes and creating, and showing up with something that is it's an intellectual language, with something that it's not just decoration. So of course, I needed to find a balance, and actually right now, maybe since 1 year, 1 year and something, I found a nice balance between the two things, and I can say that actually I can do both things at the same time. But it wasn't easy. But again, to answer directly to your question, I think that for me, being a content creator or becoming a content creator was a necessity and a way to give voice to what I wanted to really be, that it's a designer.
Yeah, got it. In today's scenario, there are if we remove the big brand name designers, I think almost everyone in fashion needs to have like a very solid online presence. Like I know you do it out of passion, and you do it. A lot of your content is educational. You're teaching a lot of things. What it's like to actually be a designer, because fashion is one of the most romanticized, glamorized industries in the world. People like who don't work in fashion think it's all like God knows parties and after parties and drinks all the time, but it's really not. So I really love the fact that you have sort of put out that sort of unseen side of fashion, which I think we definitely need more of. But for a designer who maybe not, who just didn't think of being a content creator, do you
Mm,
think it's sort of unfair that a designer has to become a content creator in order to be visible? Like I think that's just enough, because a designer already is wearing like multiple hats. So I
yeah,
think content creator is now like a requirement. It's mandatory. You really won't be anywhere if you're not on Instagram. Do you
yeah.
think that's sort of unfair, or it's just like part of business?
Uh, I mean, I feel that having a strong social presence, and I'm telling you, unfortunately, because that wasn't part of the game, unfortunately, having a strong social presence right now, nowadays in the current times, it's quite essential, because then you can, I mean, create something beautiful or super successful or express your language, your way to communicate in a brilliant way, but then no one is seeing it. And in a world in which we are kind of bombed
Mm,
uh, reels or social media things or news or whatever, um, having a strong presence online, so that is positioning you or somehow in this world, it's essential. It's if this is fair or not. Yeah, probably not, because I think that no one was thinking to be a designer and a content creator. At least I wasn't. But then you realize that you need to. The thing then, I feel that you can find inside this hemisphere of being a content creator, something that is quite sweet and is reconnecting mostly with what a designer does in terms of express its language, and is using content creation as a way to communicate. So I feel that every artist at the end of the day has to be a good communicator. Maybe, I don't know, not with his or her voice, but at least with what they do. So at the end of the day, I think that if you can connect the content creation with your way to communicate and find your own balance, especially your own personality, your own rhythm to do that, it's a very powerful tool, the social media in general. So at the end of the day, it's really what is giving you the another option, that is not just, okay, I invest my money in my brand and all good. No, if you don't, you need to show up, you need to show your vision to the world, and you need to be a communicator, and let the people understand also your vision, feel it. Maybe it takes time, of course, but it's quite essential nowadays. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So, before you got into fashion and after you got into fashion, what are some things that, were like a big shock to you, maybe like a cultural shock about the fashion industry? Because like you said, you were not from fashion and you joined it like a bit later in your life. So what was like a cup, what were some things that like really shocked you about being in fashion or like working as a designer?
Uh, so the first thing that I felt that really shocked me, also because of my background. I was, as I told you, yeah, I was coming from a legal context where I was working in human rights, so I always had an eye also for sustainability. So the constant pressure that you have always to produce something, the constant pressure that you have to always produce something new, and you have to put outside I don't know, maybe an entire collection, or maybe two in 6 months. This is quite crazy, I would say. Also because this is
Yeah,
another thing that is kind of disconnecting then fashion from art, because you cannot all the time be inspired. So my suggestion sometimes to people that they ask me for advice is always like focus on one garment, maybe focus on one garment, and try the all the experiments possible on this garment, and try to communicate your feelings through one garment. And this is going, I know, very much against what we used to think about fashion. You think about fashion show with an entire collection made of, I don't know, 30 pieces. Yeah, this was
yeah,
shocking for me. And actually, I do strongly believe that we have to change our mindset around it. If you want to save fashion, if you want to save the fashion designers, and if you want to give to people working in this field the attention that they deserve. We are not just products; we are soul and feelings behind them and before them. Yeah.
completely, completely. And how would you, so you are, I'm guessing like when you got into fashion, like how did you like actually like learn the technical things? Like did you like self-learn or did you like, how did you like actually learn the technical sewing and everything?
Yeah. So I'm self-taught, absolutely. When I was working as a in my legal experience, that when I talk about that, it seems another life. I almost I cannot recall it. I did a few sewing courses before this. I have my
Okay.
aunt, the sister of my mom. She's a fashion designer too, and she has now a factory. I mean, it's 40 years that she works in the field. So I was always kind of passionate about seeing her just sewing, or seeing her about designing, or seeing her just listening her talking about fashion in general, or some brands that she was liking. So I had always this, not because I was thinking to make a profession out of it, but it was, yeah, let's say, just an hobby. So I was taking some sewing classes, and then I had my sewing machine, so I was trying things. Then, of course, when the things started being more serious, I kind of digged into it. I took some few patterns courses as well, and then of course I think that nothing can replace actually the experience. So sometimes I also talk with people that they are actually studying fashion. They say, I never seen this thing from this perspective. And I think that that kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing, it's only the experience that is giving it to you. So I would say that of course, then since I didn't do a fashion school, I had to find a way to make my technical skills good enough then to do what I do. But I feel that the real push to that is the actual experience. So most of the time you also learn it while you are doing it. So you make many mistakes maybe on the your
Mm-hmm.
first time, and then some less on the second, and then you go all the way. And most of the time this is the only real way to learn the things for real, actually. And then of
Yeah.
course, it's very important when it comes to fashion and learning how to do things, uh, understand and learn the structure and the seams and everything. But then it's also very important to build a vision, because then technical skills without any vision, it's an empty box.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing that you were self-taught, and coincidentally, most of all the guests, in fact, we have had till now on this podcast have been self-taught. I think that's such a beautiful. I don't know if it's a coincidence. I think it's a beautiful direction that the industry is going in, where I think the reliance on these big brand names. I mean, of course, fashion school is of course super important to build connections and things like that. But I think it's really interesting how a lot of these new age designers are self-taught. I think that says a lot about the industry we're in, the way that the industry is moving.
Yeah,
Uh, One thing I
yeah,
would love to
the
know,
same.
like, you are, of course, from a legal background and, human rights and things like that. So, what would you say is a cause or, like a social element that you would want your work to reflect the most? Like, of course, there are so many like moral problems with the fashion industry right now. But what would you say is one thing that like really connects with you and you'd want to be reflected in Alvana?
um so you mean how I would like to be reflected in the today's fashion world? It was this more or less the nuts of the question.
I mean, like more in terms of like the social element of it. Like, since you have such a interesting background of being a lawyer in the human rights field, what is the closest sort of social cause to you? Like, what do you think is the most sort of glaring problem in the industry right now? Because there are so many, like from sustainability to workers, and things like that. So, what do you think is what are something that are like really connect with you in terms of this?
Yeah, in terms of this, I mean, I think that we talked a lot about the many problems of fast fashion. Mm, and I think that, yeah, of course, pollution and all the struggle that people behind a big fashion brand they have to make a living working 15 hours per day. And this was
Mm-hmm.
the main thing of my previous job. So of course I have a big attention toward sustainability in fashion, and I also feel that right now it's another trend. So people they try to feed their mouth with a lot of words and nice words about sustainability, but then once it comes to make a revenue out of what you do, you forget about sustainability, so it just becomes a little things that you have in the back of your mind, but actually then your brand is not sustainable anymore, because the revenue is more important, and you are just part of the same game.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I think that socially
Yeah.
talking, yeah, it's very important to recognize what fast fashion is doing to the world, and I want to really stress out it seems that we talk enough about that, but we don't, because we need to educate the audience. And the only way to educate the audience is showing again and again and again all the bad that fast fashion is doing. And as we were talking at the beginning, of course, is polluting the world, it's exploiting people, but then it's also cutting the feelings to people themselves. So uh, I think that it's very important to try to reconnect first to clothes as a it's something that carries identity. It's the only way to avoid that then clothes are disposable and then you can buy and you can throw them away. If you know what is behind a piece of clothes, you want to wear it follow your life, and maybe if it gets kind of a hole, you want to repair it, you don't want to throw it away. So I think um it's really important to address this issue. It's really important to reconnect to what is behind a piece of clothes. And then of course all the
Right.
social problems, maybe they can get a bit better, starting from this point.
Yeah. Correct, because I think a lot of these problems, be it like, let's say like underpaid workers or environmental damage, everything stems from fast fashion if you think about it. A
Yeah,
lot of these problems would simply not exist if we didn't have fast fashion. And I think
yeah,
you made a really amazing point, like how we need to sort of, you know, push out the same message again and again, because that is how we were convinced for fast fashion. Like, before, like if you take 20 years back, people used to like buy a bit more mindfully, definitely, like, and there was like, tailoring existed. Like tailoring has completely slipped out of this world, which is so sad. People used to get custom garments made, high quality garments that they would wear for years. Just
yeah,
like how we have been brainwashed into like buying H&M, Zara, Shein, which is like horrible. I think we need to sort of brainwash everyone into believing how fast fashion is so bad. I
yeah.
think that's
I
a
mean,
very important point.
yeah, I think that sometimes I think that this is also the mission, Of course, I do have a vision as a designer, but of course, I do have a mission as a human being. And I feel that
Right.
sometimes trying to end at least doing what I'm capable to, or in my little garden, trying to end with the fast fashion, with the overconsumption, with this capitalistic system that is always behind us, telling us that you need more, you need to be more perfect, you need to be more beautiful than for who, or you need to wear the newest clothes made by the newest brand that is the newest trend. I'm tired. And yeah, I
Yeah.
feel that
Yeah.
besides everything, uh, I do have a mission as a human being, and then of course as a professional in the fashion field. And the mission is, yeah,
Yeah.
let people understand that there is something behind each piece of clothes. There are emotions, there are people, they have feelings, and these feelings then they got transmitted in what they design and create. And once you really understand, you are aware of all those things, I feel that it will be quite more difficult to get a piece of clothes and just throw it away like it was nothing. So I think we should start from here, reconnect the clothes itself to the people who made them.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful, and I really like a lot of like one thing that you said was very standout is like a lot of designers talk about their vision, but no one talks about their mission. Like how a company has a vision statement and a mission statement.
Yeah,
I think we need to bring back that philosophy in fashion as well. I think that's a very interesting point,
absolutely,
and I think that's definitely missing. Yeah.
absolutely,
This
agree.
actually brings me to this one beautiful thing that you wrote in your sort of brief was like today fashion is reduced either to trend consumption or luxury performance, which is exactly what it is. Like either people are like buying fast fashion to follow trends, or they're buying like logo branded things just to feel more culturally
Yeah,
relevant. I
yeah,
think these sort of things are the sort of problems too, like everything else, fast fashion or be it like, lack
yeah,
of taste or lack of creativity and emotion. I think everything just sums up, the statement sort of sums up it perfectly. So I think that was really
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a problem of lack of personality, because then again, the capitalistic world wants us all the same things, so we cannot create problem. We cannot be outside of the box. But
Yeah,
then it's all a system
yeah,
that's kind of feeding itself, and is eating us. And so I
yeah,
really would love that people somehow they just wake up and they start feeling who really are they, from the inside, and showing their personality without any fear of being outside and yelling, or whatever they feel of themselves. Showing up of course, always respecting the civil rules and stuff, but yeah, showing up with personality,
mhm,
without fear of being judged. And
yeah,
this is it's hard, and I feel that it's also one of the biggest problem of also the new generation, the young generation. It's more and more being standardized, wearing the same clothes, and then of course, how do you wear something that is making you feel okay with yourself and at the eyes of the society? Either you wear like fast fashion brands buying a trend for 9 euro, or you wear big brands with big logos, and so you are kind of culture that's accepted. But then you are kind of betraying your personality and you are betraying yourself. And while you think about yourself in one life that we are living, so actually we you are not giving voice to
Mhm.
your real self. So this is another way to, I
Right.
always, to find your vision. This is another question that I always got asked by many people. How do you find your vision? How do you find your vision? I think that to find your vision, you have to shut the door to what the world is showing you every day. Um, and ask, who are you, emotionally talking, what are your feelings, what do you want to transmit tomorrow? If you die tomorrow, what do you want people to remember about you? Those are all the questions that I use to also make to myself, to understand who am I and what I want to give to this world in terms of uh, professional pathway or personal pathway. And I think that this is also the only way to shape your vision without the all outside elements distract you.
Yeah, no, I think very true because, like I said in the beginning, it's almost impossible to find a creative person with like something what they say their vision is and the work actually reflects that.
Yeah,
Because people can just add today, people can just chat GPT a story or a narrative that they think they believe in, but are they actually following it? Is the biggest question of I think we are struggling with. And
yeah,
I think, like you said about the taste, and I think the we think that we are dressing up or we are portraying ourselves in like uniquely, but in the end it's all just the algorithm, right? I mean, my algorithm is different, your algorithm is different. We think that we have like a different perspective or whatever, but we really don't. And I think in fashion, I think that is why there's this whole conversation of like how personal style doesn't exist anymore, because people just simply don't dress how they would want to. Like even if people think that this is something I like, it's most probably just pushed to them by the algorithm or some Instagram ads. Everything is like personal style doesn't exist anymore,
yeah.
which I also think is, I think it's a big concern,
It's
which is
ex-
going to like really shape up how we perceive fashion and we consume fashion.
yeah, yeah. And at the end of the day, we're gonna all have the same taste. We're gonna all have the same vision. We're gonna be all
Mm.
part of this big army where all of us is the
Yeah,
same. And then
yeah,
actually you cut out all the differences that people have. That is what makes also humanity nice and beautiful, no?
right. But hopefully we'll find like hopefully that won't actually happen. Like all we can do is think positive, I guess.
I, I,
Optimism is so important in this day and age.
at least I fight for it. I fight for it every day.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's amazing. Oh my God. I think that's pretty much it. What do you think?
yeah. I think that we were planning to have a
Yeah,
conversation for half an hour. It's 1 hour almost. So yeah, it's pretty much of it. Uh,
yeah, but I think we covered some amazing points.
yeah,
Okay, let me do one thing. Let me just shut off the recording.
yeah,
Uh, okay, let me just like thank you once for the video. Yeah. So, Alfonso, that was, I think, it. I think we're sort of done with all the questions. Thank you so much for your time on this call today. Really appreciate it. I hope you had a good experience and you were able to share some of your thoughts.
yeah, absolutely, Shreya. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and actually, it was a pleasure to also kind of build this, this interview, this talk in the most natural conversational way, because I think that also people that will listen, they need it. They don't need anything prepared or scheduled. They need this
Mm,
uh, thoughts that they are
yeah.
just going around flowing and creating space for arguments. I really liked it and I appreciate it, and I feel honored to be here and to be part of this program. I love it.
Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching the Speaking of Fashion podcast. We hope you had a great time and we hope you were able to take away something meaningful from this conversation. Please do make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We would love your support. And stay tuned for the next one. Thank you. Bye.